Hey everybody, and welcome back. My name is Sue and I'm from OML Embroidery, and today we are going to be working on a Christmas tree made out of shapes. I'm a few minutes early, so we'll just chat for a moment so everybody can get their notification and hop on in. Lila, hello Lila, and Misha and Alicia and Isabel. Hello, hello. You guys are talking about a storm. My cats don't care for the monster. They love mug rugs. That's funny. Any new people? Any new people? Hi, Beth. I have the day off and I can join the live. Yay! Me too, except for the day off part. You know. From the UK. Hi, Carol. We've seen you here before. Hi from Indiana, says Victoria. Cindy King, yay! I lost that track of time. Well, I'm glad you figured it out, because awesome. We're going to have fun as well today. Lots of it. Lydia says, I love to watch your videos. I'm new. Well, welcome, Lydia. You're going to love it. We have tons of fun going on. So, okay, let's get started. I'm gonna warn you guys, I had fun playing with the simulated variegated thread, and you'll see that at the end. It's really cute. It's really cute. So, we ready to get started on our Christmas tree? Yes. So, yeah, look, a Christmas tree. Just triangles. That's it. Now, there's many ways that we can put this together. You can't hear? Turn up your volume. Everyone else can hear me, Dawn. There we go. All good. All right. You keep your problems downstairs, mister. You're interrupting me, even from downstairs. Stop it. Yeah, I know we can hear. Dawn just needed to turn his volume up. So anyways, Christmas tree, triangles. So easy to do. I mean, obviously this doesn't look the greatest, but I grabbed a guideline just to keep my points even, but you don't actually have to have them because no tree is perfect. So we, don't want it to be perfect. Now, what you could do, just to use, all the tools that you have available. We could make it faster and easier instead of a guideline and precision placing. Just use your software for it. And this right here, this is horizontal center align, so it's gonna line up the horizontal center. Then you can do spacing as well, by the way. You can see how that one moved. It just adjusts the spacing. So everything should be in line, and I like it. Vertical center align, horizontal. Isn't that backwards? Maybe not. So let's go to our shapes, and you can be doing this in any software. I am using Perfect Embroidery Professional because I like all the lots of extras that it has. So what you need to do if you're not using PEP is go into your software and find the shapes. Every software has shapes. I'm only using...
It's all good. I said all good right after.
I know. So, okay, let's do just a triangle. You could make them, squish up a little bit. Maybe like this. And then all you have to do is Control-C, Control-V, and copy and paste. And then make it a little bigger. And, half line it up if you want. And that's all I did. Now you can see here, this one's a little thinner. This one's longer, bigger. And just, play around with it. It's not anything that you need to be specific. So once you line everything up, hey, that's great. This is a rectangle. So you could have a shorter tree, you could have a longer tree, you could even stuff up. Now, what can we do with this? Because this doesn't look great, and we haven't done any embroidery, of course. So let's grab all these ones. Now we're still in outline, so we don't have any embroidery going on. So what we can do at this point, we could convert it and weld. Couple other things we can do, but let's try a weld first. Look at that. We could add in the bottom as well if you wanted to, or you can keep it separate. I think that worked out really well. Let's do a weld. It has to be overlapping a little bit, but that's okay. There's an extra line. So that looks pretty good. Now everything isn't perfectly even. That's what we want. So that's groovy. What I did here is that I did an outline. So I selected all of them, and then I'm going to utility, create outline. We could leave it at 0, or let's try something kind of small, maybe to round everything out and see how it looks. That is actually pretty good. Whoops, grabbed the wrong one. Because of course I have a big mess on my desktop, but alright, get out then. Get out then. Put all my triangles in a row, you know, like ducks in a row. And see, that one is a bit smoother here. And I kind of like that as well. This is sharp and this is just a little bit smoother. If you make it any bigger though, it goes like this. Which, I mean, it's not that bad. It's okay. Karina, time to learn new things. You are correct. You are correct. Oh, look, I left a square in there. So that, I mean, I think that's really good for a first one. I made it, Lorelai. Yay, glad you made it. So I don't necessarily like these kind of sawed off edges. So, you know, you can play around with it. See, the ones that we just did a weld, they're sharp. These are just about right. It really depends on how you like it. Now, of course, we can tweak these up quite a bit to make it look a little more realistic. But at first here, I wanted to show you how you can just decorate it even with simple things like this. We're going to get way into decorations after, but just a satin stitch and it's silver, just going back and forth. So let's look at this one now. So this tree here is the same tree. You can tell by the top I left it so we could match it in. And how did I make it look so different? Well, we're gonna just adjust some nodes. It's really easy. I added some nodes and look, I added a little bend in here. I made this a cusp, that sort of thing. I don't actually like these ones in it, but let's do it on this squared up one. And no two trees that you do will be exactly alike if you go into node mode and change it up, because like I said, I don't really like these cut off parts. So what I started doing is just pulling it out here. Let's do apply, but that doesn't look quite right with this bump in there. And then I spent time trying to even it up, and then I went, you know what, let's delete that point. Problem solved, and it's much faster. So you can angle it, you could maybe round it off a little bit more if you wanted. But I think one of the points being that we don't want it to be perfect, because then it just looks like a cookie cutter and anybody can do that. So we want to have some character to our Christmas tree. You can also pull these ones in if you want a little more, you know, if you want to pull it in like that. You don't want them to be too skinny. So quite a few, you could make them, you know, curve up like that, you know, dramatically. Let me try it on this side and kind of curve it up. That would be really cute if you did the whole thing. And these ones, I mean, you could also add like a swirl on the end of it as well if you wanted. I don't, because I don't have any other swirls. So let me put this back. But we're going to kind of tilt it down a little bit. Maybe add some style. Bezier curves. This is where your Bezier curves come in handy. See? And make it, you know, just that kind of a shape, because why not? And there we go on this one. And just kind of make it rounded. You could do that with all of them. Let me finish one, though. There we go. There we go. Yeah, why not? And it could be almost touching the ground. Nobody cares. Let's pull this one kind of like that again. Kind of to mimic this, but not quite as heavy because the branches at the bottom are heavier. Let's do apply. And who says that? Judy Quilt. She loves Bezier curves. Yep, Bezier curves make it. So, a little wobbly here that I don't like, and maybe a wobbly here. You can go in and fix it. Just delete it. It's those extra points, and I moved it again. So let's just get rid of those guys. We don't need it to be perfect, but I don't like the way it wobbles. Maybe that would be better. And this one I don't need at all, so let's get rid of it. See how quick and easy it is to fix it? Snow would definitely make it lean down, yes. And the heavy ornaments that I'm going to put on it. But you don't have to do any of that. You can leave your tree like this. This is perfectly acceptable. So is this one. They're perfectly fine. It just depends on what you're making and what styles you like. So I made this guy a little bit bigger, and it's this tree, and I tweaked it a little bit. I wanted sharp points for no particular reason. It was just my mood. I converted it into stitches, and instead of just doing plain old boring satin stitch like here, I made a random zigzag pattern, and I played around with motif stitches, because motif stitches are your friend and you can overuse them. But I think this is a perfect use for them. So this is candle wicking here, candle wicking 3. You should have candle wicking in your motifs no matter what software you're using. And I think that gives it a really good look. So I know you can do this in Embrilliance, but let's try it in here. So I'm going to right click and let's go to the bottom. Let's have a little bit of fun. Maybe purples. Purple. And look at that. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? So just playing around with variegated thread. Wednesday is the best day of the week. Thank you, Lila. Thank you. I know you have fun with your homework. Lila does her homework every week. You guys should too. It's amazing what you can come up with when you get playing. But isn't this a cute way? Like, this is, you know, not 100% accurate representation of the variegated thread, but it's pretty darn close. Now, someone suggested in there, why don't you, it would be great as an applique. Let me check my size. Yep, that's a great size for an applique. And wouldn't that be cute? You could put fabric underneath it. So you could just convert it to applique. I know the other software will have that as well. And that's really cute. I really like it. I usually make the satin stitches a little bit wider, but I'm gonna just leave it just because. Now I think we go here and we can click. Hatch has this too, and I'm pretty sure Embrilliance as well. So let's, my fabric designs, just bear with me for a minute because it's fun. Holiday. You can really get a good, whoa, look at that one. Oh, I love that. All the Halloween ones. Anyways, moving on. We're talking holiday, right? We're talking Christmas. Oh, that might be cute. Oh, any one of these. I'll pick this one. And you could see what it looks like. What a great, rendition of it like this. Isn't that cute? So you can play around with different fabrics and just kind of get a look. If you don't want to do a print, you really don't have to. It's easy to do, and it's right here. Let's just pick a solid color just for the sake of it. There's so many. Oh, that one's pretty too. Oh, they all are pretty. Stop looking. Stop looking. Let's pick a green. Let's pick a green. How about this green? Okay, because I could sit and look at it all day. Well, doesn't that look great? So applique, fantastic idea. You could try out different fabrics to see if you have a busy fabric, then you don't want, you know, a ton of decorations on it. As you guys could see when I put the Santa Claus fabric, it got a little too busy and you lose the wow factor of this part. So just in general, you can overdo everything. So if you use variegated thread, have, you know, kind of plain-ish fabric, and that makes it stand out. If you do both, then that'll be a little too much and everything's gonna like blend together. It's really, really nice to have your eye drawn to one, you know, beautiful part of it. So when you look at this, you see the purples, and that's what you want. So if you don't want to do any fills or any applique, we can work on fills. And look what I did here. This is a wave fill, and I did an outline because, you know, if you don't have the outline, is that it? Let me just move it so you can see. If you don't have the outline, some of the edges don't, like here, they don't look finished. However, it may be, just undo there, it may be a little bit better if you put the outline the same color. Then it's easier, because if it's off a little bit, it won't matter too much. Let's see, green. Can we not change to green? Yeah. See, I think that looks a little bit better, although the yellow looks like, you know, kind of like a glow as well. So let's change this back to just regular tatami, and let's check the size. It's say 6.5 by 7.5, so we have lots of room to play. And we could, oh, I have the density changed. I'm just gonna leave it. Let's see, we could do different patterns in the tatami. See that there's nothing wrong with that. I have the density backed right off, so it does look kind of weird, but you know, that's okay. I would take off the underlay because you don't need that. We could put the density back so you can see. That's not it. What is it? 3? 2? It's probably 2. Let's see. Yeah, it's probably 2. I forget. No magic numbers, right? No magic numbers. And there we go. That is correct. I have my 3D on. But that gives it, you know, kind of a groovy effect. If you look at it, we're looking right up close. You could go in here. Let's change the angle so the zigzags go a different way. And that changes it again. I kind of like that. There's nothing wrong with that. See, it's kind of, you know, Christmas tree-ish. So, okay, let's, I think, you know, I could probably play all day with these. Ooh, let's just try this one. I know Hatch has a ton of them. Cool. So, emboss would be okay as well. Let's see if we can find something different. The only thing with emboss is that you really, really have to make sure it's big enough. Something small like this just simply isn't going to work. But there's a ton of them, so like the zigzag one, different ones like that. You can play around. You might find something that catches your attention. You might like it, you know, whatever. It would still stitch out. Remember, they are a little bit dense as well. So, you know, for something this big, I don't think you want to do, you know, these embossed fill stitches. You can, and you can try. It would give it a really groovy look, but, you know, make it smaller. So motif, I mean, I guess you could fill it with motif. Maybe you could put the motif over the fabric. That is usually really good looking. Remember though, if it's busy fabric, you don't want to put a motif on it. This is plain, so you could. So that's another idea. I'm just going to be throwing ideas at you. I looked at this one quite a bit and I thought, that's a bit busy. I didn't really like it. I thought I would, but I didn't really like it. So motif over plain fabric, yes. I think that would look good. Motif as the tree, unless you could find a really good one, I don't know how well it'll work. That one's okay. It's a bit see-through, so it, again, depends really on what you're stitching it on. But I thought, let's go way out there. I tried shape. Echo is a pretty tough one. I mean, that is cool. That is really cool how it turned out, but you see it's kind of like a star kind of in the middle, and I like how this part went. So that would do in a pinch. Then of course you gotta play around with the density because it usually changes the look. Well, see, now that doesn't look nearly as good, does it? That doesn't look nearly as good. So I like it better on a 1. Remember, no magic numbers. Experimentation is key. So I like this one. I'm going to stand back a little bit and you can see how that looks. There's some lighter spots and there's some darker spots. Yeah, I think that would look good. I kind of like it. So why not? Echo would work. Contour. Let's see, contour. Oh, it's the same thing. All right, never mind. Wave. This is the one I really liked. So I hit wave and look, there's no waves in it. So you got to go to your node mode and you need to add some waves. So there is a line down the middle and that's why it was straight. And let's try a wave. This is a playing one. Now it's a little bit big, but you see how it kind of just gently slopes over. But you know what? There's nothing stopping you from adding more nodes. And let me show you. So let's take it up to maybe a 5 density. That might be okay. It might be a bit not dense enough. So let's add a point with our bezier curves, and we'll pull this one this way, and we'll kind of pull this one this way. Look at my bezier angles are just right out of whack there. So you can play around with it. A little bit hard to see. Let's zoom in a little bit. And maybe we'll just pull this down. You can't go too crazy with it. But isn't that pretty? So it's kind of a wave, and it's kind of a sketchy design as well, for sure. Now on this one, I think you would definitely need to do an outline because it would be pretty scarce at it. Let's play around just a little bit because I'm going to show you if you make it too harsh, it really doesn't look good anymore. So let's try this one. It starts to be a little too tight here, and then it's straight there, but these curves are really nice, really nice. So yeah, this is definitely a play with your software moment, and you can come up with something. You can remove the ends too, don't forget. You can come up with something really cool, or really bad. That's too dense in there. So that's what I was talking about. If you make the curves, the movement too harsh, that's what you can end up with. It's too close. So this is kind of like the idea that I want. And I thought it looked really beautiful, kind of like a stylized kind of tree, sketch tree. And all I did to remove that, by the way, if you didn't see, I just kind of did it. I put it back there. That's where it was. And this part here could be very dense. So I just made the curve a little less, curvy, if we can say that. Why not? And hit apply. And it takes it and it puts a nice, so the wave goes like this. It follows the yellow line. And remember, you can like literally just play with it because you can move every single one. And see, that made it just a little bit smoother. I may want to pull this one back and make it curvier. See, this is where your Bezier curves come in handy. It's just rounding everything out. And that's what I want. That's what I want. So I made this, I didn't move it too much here to make it harsh, but I kind of made it, wider. And that's a beautifully smooth curve. And this is not too dense here or here. And I really like it. I really like it. So let's zoom out a little bit. Yeah, I thought that was cool. See, it might be a little too dense in the middle. I'd have to really take a good look at it. So then I got to playing. How about we have waves going two different ways? So I made this weird looking triangle and I played around with the waves and I thought, yeah, that one's a bit, again, it's a bit harsh. So we have these density lines, and then I don't really care for the lines after it. I mean, we could, find a good use for it, but I'm not too keen on it. So play around with the shape. I just, hacked away at it. So let's make it a little bit rounder. That's a little bit better. I guess maybe this can go up this. There it is. Maybe if that goes down a little bit more. There we go. So that kind of works out. Now this part, sometimes you have to move some nodes to get where you want to go and then just put them back. It's easy. So we're going to take this curve here. Let's try that and see if, yeah, there you go. So you can play around with just a simple shape. And it's just cut down the middle. You might have to tweak a little bit. I did this in like 2 seconds. But I thought, wouldn't that be cool to do it that way? Because it would look, depending, maybe the wave goes the other way or the wave starts here and loosens up there. And then you could layer it a little bit. There's so many things you could do. And then I just plunked them together. And this one looks way better now. Yes, there's going to be a little seam in the middle, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. This one I don't like, but I just kept going. Chris Yost. Hello, Chris Yost. Welcome, welcome. Glad you could make it. Awesome. Did Gail Hardock make it too? Did I miss it? Yeah, probably. So, good experiment. And if you stand back and look, okay, up close with 3 tiers, I'm not really sure what that is. But if you zoom back, that's the start of a really groovy tree. I kind of liked it. And if you tweak around and play around, I thought this would look really good. Needs more work, but So let's talk about decorating. What can you do to decorate? Dr. Zeus tree. Yeah, I kind of thought that as well. So yes, I was so excited. Let's decorate. So what can you do for decorations? Well, you know what? Just about anything. We're going to decorate this tree. And you should be mindful when you could go through the center with a brown thread to create a trunk. Yep, you could. Absolutely. See, the ideas are just flowing. If you were really careful with how you did it, you could make a really beautiful, beautiful tree out of this. I just thought of another shape instead of a triangle shape, more of a swirl up like that, and then put the wave in it and then put it all together. It would be awesome. So shapes to decorate, just about anything goes. These are motif stitches, and I think they look great. These ones here, this one's, it's called 122. I don't know. Fun candy stakes. Well, you know what they are made of? It's all shapes again. I don't use any clip art for any of this. And it's a circle plus a swirl plus a rectangle. That's it. That's it. And it would be really cool. Let me see if I can grab it. Probably not, but I'll see it where it is in my list. I want the swirl on it. Oh, it's all grouped together. Hold on, because I have an idea. Oh, how about we ungroup? Then we can grab what we need. It's too hard to grab it on the screen. So you come to here. What if we did this? Yep, that would be cool. I think maybe if the back of it was like a lighter color, that would look cool. We could make the swirl a little more intense, but you can kind of see it as well. So I thought that was a really quick way to make candy. How about we do it opposite? Well, yeah, look at that. How that stitches out. That is awesome. You know what you could do with this is... Now, I told you guys at the beginning that I'm just really happy playing around with the variegated thread. Today, the simulation, I just love it. Change the angle, which is, again, the yellow line with the black dots. You can do that in any software. But it changes the whole thing. I think that's cool. I could play with that forever, so I'm going to move on. Let me see if I can find... yeah, right there. Oh, it's artwork. That's why it's not showing up very well, or it didn't change colors very well. Because it's not stitches. I forgot to change it. So let's convert it to a run, and we can see it a little bit better, but I do have it stitch in variegated thread. So let's change that. We're going to make it maybe a bean stitch. See how well that shows up. What a difference now. Look at that. Isn't that great? So let's change the back of it to like the red. Now you can see it. How cute is that? How cute is that? I really like it. But yeah, if something isn't showing up as well as you want, once you find it and click on it, and normally you won't have as many things as I do, make sure you turn it to stitches, and these bean stitches will very nicely like sink into it. So yeah, that just took it from that to that. Big difference in my book. I like it. So I played around with some swirlies. I did shapes. I made a snowman. We're going to do all this in a minute because we are going to decorate this tree. Now, this is literally the most fun part of the whole thing. I really had a ton of fun. I forgot his outline, so we'll just put the outline on. And it's a little bit off, but you know what? I wonder if doing the outline for this one in a bright yellow will give it a glow. Well, I don't mind that. How about we put it on a little bit better? Let's go. Come on. This one has the glow too, but I'm gonna change it in a second. So we can line it up in the middle, and it's done. So instead of messing around, you can use the tools. So the alignment tools are pretty darn important. And someone just said white would look like snow. That also looks amazing. Now, what stitch did I... No, not that one. It's hard to grab stuff sometimes. I keep doing it. Run. I get kind of lost a little bit because I do stuff, copy and paste, do stuff, copy and paste. that sort of thing. So Beth, thank you for the idea of snow. We're going to do it this way. I am completely in love with this candy cane with the variegated thread in a bean stitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to steal it. So I'm going to select the two of them and I'm going to group it and I'm going to steal it. I guess I could have copied instead of stealing. And I'm just going to put it underneath the tree. This tree would be cute as an ornament. Well, once you do it in applique, you just do another outline and you can make a stuffy of it. Make it the same way as you do a mug rug. Then you can. You know what else we can do that I didn't do the first time around? Let's take a rectangle and we are going to put a rectangle maybe there. I think that'll look good. And we are going to convert it to complex fill. And I'm going to change it to that gorgeous purple. And now we have a present. What's missing on our present? A bow, of course. Let's zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. I'm going to leave the diagonal because that is stunning. And how do you make a bow? Well, first of all, I'm going to make the ribbon. So I'm going to go across and I'm going to go back. And then I'm going to go down first. I almost did it wrong. Ha! And then up to the edge. And of course, don't be too precise on this because you don't have to be. And I'm going to put corner circles there. And then I'm not very good at tying bows, so my design is going to reflect that. And I think that's hilarious. And we're going to do the ribbon out here. And I'm going to go back on myself so I can do the other side. And because I'm not very good at tying bows, this side's going to be shorter. You can always make up your own stories, you know, as you go along. I kind of digitize a lot, so I find it fun. And let's see, what's going to show up on all that purple? Yeah, we're going to make it, let's try bean. There you go. Now it shows up. So I would probably move that and let's make that into a curve. So always when you do something, just do it. Don't worry about anything. Just do it and then go back and tweak. I'm only going to tweak 2 pieces. Hit apply. Let's see how it looks now. So you know exactly what that is. And that was super easy to do. Add 1 cat for reality. Yes, must climb the tree and pull the ribbons. Very true. We could maybe do that after. Or maybe next Wednesday we'll do a cat that is going to eat the tree. So that's how you quickly do a present. So this could be also a present. So how hard do you think it is to make a snowman? It's not hard. I just thought he was cute. He was a little bit too small to put a face on him, so we can make him bigger. He's kind of leaning over too, so you can make him bigger, and then you could put circles, and you could put a face and a triangle for a nose. But let's put him back. Couple, 1, 2, 3. I just thought it was cute because they were kind of guarding the tree before you have presents. So another thing I'd like you guys to notice, this is a perfect star, the yellow one, and the red one in the middle isn't perfect. And these ones aren't perfect either. They look kind of skewed a little bit. And that's exactly what I wanted. Because it shows like a movement and like angles, and it's really easy to do. So this one looks like it's kind of blowing in the wind. That one, you know, it's sideways. Do you get what I'm trying to say here? So it's really easy to do. I'm going to click on the yellow star and I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste. And I'm going to move it over here. So this one is a perfectly symmetrical one. So what you do is go to duplicate, which is Control D, and then when you're pulling it out, see how you can change how it is? I'll make it bigger, maybe you guys can see better. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can move the angle, you can change it so it's not 100% perfect. This way it is, and you can change it around. And I thought that was a great way of doing it. And what I did is I just, pulled them out, did my thing, moved them around. So that is a fun way of decorating your tree. I just came up with ideas. You can see here in the blue, just different size stars, different shaped diamonds, because I thought that would look cool. We can make maybe a circle one. Let's see, go up here to ellipse. It's more fun than you think, just so you know. It's more fun than you think. Heed my warning. Misha says, I need to finish embroidering on my tree skirt. I'm having trouble positioning. Such a mess I am. Well, no. Take a deep breath. You got this. It's easy. Not easy, but you got this. Let's make a different shaped ornament, because you guys have seen ones that are like a teardrop. Now that doesn't look a whole lot like a teardrop, so we're going to change that to line. Now it does. See how easy that is? Just one node and done. So let's convert to complex fill, and I can't resist putting the purple on it. And you could add your own little decorations. I don't think you'd be able to use anything like this. Like, you can't put the stars in there because it's too small. But even using different colored thread, that would be fine. And then you can go to your lettering and you can do the letter O or the number 0, whatever you want. And we're going to change that to variegated. Whoops. No. I have to have the select key for that. And you could make it a little bit smaller, not too small. And there you go. That's how you're going to hang it. But you could also take this and we're going to do copy. Oh, actually, let's do a duplicate because it's easy. And we can make this guy a little fancier. So we could start it off small, maybe even make that solid. But see how fancy you can make your ornaments? They don't just have to be circles and squares. You can bring them in together. I actually like that better without. So I like that. And then we can hang it on the tree. And I find it's really handy if you have more than one piece to it, if you group it. Because if I decide, well, heck, that's way too big, you don't have to select both parts of it. So then what you can do, that's one. Most people will buy or create or, whatever, a package of ornaments. So we're going to make more than one of this. So we're going to do copy and we're going to do paste, and you could do duplicate as well. Just gives it a better look. And I'm going to put one here. Let's do duplicate. Let's do it. Now, they're all here, and I am going to make them different in just a sec, because you can't have the exact same stuff. Different sizes. Be careful going too small, of course. Now, these are exactly the same. I'm going to put this one hanging off here. But all you have to do is change the color, and boom, you're done on that. And because I have everything nicely grouped, then it's okay. So we could do plain purple. Some people like to coordinate their trees. Nobody says that your tree has to be green. Our tree happens to be white, and it's just harder to see. That's why I don't often do it. I suppose I could make my background darker, but all of our decorations are blue and gold, and it looks fantastic. It's our TARDIS tree, if anyone's nerdy enough to catch that reference. But that's how we do it. We have ribbons and everything else like that. So super easy to do. Let's right click here and see if there's, oh, well, that's pretty. So you can just pick the variegated thread. That looks completely different now, doesn't it? So yeah, I'm going to turn it back. So, okay, you can change everything. So let's add another color. I want to add that one. And scroll down. And where was it? It was this one, wasn't it? Yeah, kind of neat. My son would like a Doctor Who tree. That's what we did, like, seriously. It's a really gorgeous tree, and a lot of fun to do. Then I posted 2 pictures of the day teaching. Thank you, Sue. That's awesome. Ours are blue and silver. So pretty. So, yeah, don't feel obliged to make a green tree. Your designs that you're creating yourself can be whatever you want. I have seen a friend of mine has a pink tree, because why not? Why not? You can do whatever you want. And I think this still looks great with the white on the outside. So what I think I've seen purple trees, and I don't know what else. I don't think I've seen yellow. Of course, there's different shades of green. Neon pink! Lynn would love that. Well, okay, let me see if I can find... Yeah, all right, there we go. This tree's for Lynn. Oh, I changed the ornament instead of the tree in my haste. Well, there you go. Yep. Neon 80s tree, because why not, right? Lynn can have whatever she wants in her new house. I think she has to buy a tree, but, you know. Yeah, no, she'll do that. Let's see. Oh, no, it's going back. So, yeah, okay, so we can do, we could do a retro tree, and we could put neon colors. That actually doesn't look bad at all, you guys. It doesn't look bad at all. I kind of like it. How weird is that? I'm sorry if it's weird. Lynn's on vacation this week. I'm not sure if she's watching, but I'll make sure she has a look that, you know, neon colors. So, let's see how that looks. Well, yeah, why not? I don't know if that's exactly neon, but those would be the colors I'd be putting, don't you think? So let's copy and paste this one. Control C, Control V. So see how much fun it is, and how much, you know, it's easy to be able to do different things on it. It's not weird. Maybe Misha says, my parents had a silver foil 60s tree until I was 4. They had it for 25 years. Why not? Absolutely, why not? They'll probably come back in style soon. But yeah, what's the difference between copying and duplicating? So when in this software, usually, and in other software, so let me show you this software and then I'll explain other software. When you do copy and paste, it just gives you one, and it's directly on top. So if you were to look at it, you really can't see that there's a second one, but I'm selecting the top one and I'm pulling it off. And that will be similar in other software. So when you copy, it goes right on top. Usually when you duplicate, you can move it off to the side. And in this software, when you do Control D, You see my cursor, it may be a little difficult for you guys to see. My cursor turns to a cross, but I left click and drag and pull it out how I want it placed. I find this a little bit awkward, but also it's a little bit easier that, you know, you're not doing everything exactly the same. You have a nice line across, so if you want them all straight, you can. Or you can pivot on that line and play around with them. But if you noticed, it just keeps going. So if you want to do a lot of stars, this is what you're going to do. Of different sizes, that's what you're going to do. So copy and paste is only one. Duplicate is as many as you want. Will all or most software make the star shape pivot like that? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I will have to look in the other software. Probably Hatch does it. Probably. I'll have to look that up for you because I don't know offhand. It's kind of handy. I know with, well, E4, because I use that a lot for production. You can do that with a single motif. It has the line across, and so that makes things super easy to do as well. I'm going to make this any good free digitizing softwares. No way, man. No way. You get what you pay for. Pretty much. Most people in these, you know, watching this, you won't need E4. A lot of people think they do, and it has tons of tools that you'll never use. So Hatch is got the same, you know, stitch calculator sort of thing in it, and that is probably what most people need. It would keep you going. So the E4 is for commercial. It's more geared at commercial. So what I mean about that, for a perfect example, is Hatch will multi-hoop and E4 will not. Why is that? Because E4 is made for commercial machines which have monstrous hoops, and they would never in production multi-hoop. So there. So yeah. I find I have to keep in mind the stitch order when I'm duplicating. Forget every time. Yes, because we still want to make connections. I'm going to try to, you know, kind of guide you guys into that a little bit. Now, it would be pretty hard to make any connections here because we've got nothing to go through. However, if we were doing one that's a little more solid, you can hide the things around the edge. Or if you were to make the edge of it a satin stitch, then you can hide all your connections. So you just, you know, start here at the star with the blue, go here. If there was another blue, you'd just do a running stitch here, do it, go back up, carry on that way. So I'm going to try to mention it every time. So let's pick something groovy for this one, and do it this way. I really like how our tree is coming out. I'm pretty happy with it. This is my groove today. I just love playing with this. Whoops, click on it. No, come on, click. This is what I want. There we go. Look at that. Groovy. How small can you go when making the circle for each ornament? Well, it really depends on what stitch you have. So this one's pretty small, and the satin stitches might be tiny. You can always change that one to a different type of stitch. That one probably is too tiny, for sure, too tiny. But I would change it when it goes smaller. look at the size of this stitch here, which is a bean stitch, compared to this one. So you're trying to put satin stitches into something that would do a bean stitch. So all you'd have to do is ungroup this one and select this satin stitch. Oh, it's, I forgot, I did it as lettering. You'd have to break that apart first. That's what you want to do. And then change it to this stitch. So there's no magic number for any of it. Let me show you a good example of something going too small. And circles are probably the best to show you on that one. So we're going to zoom right in on this one. So let's make a hot pink circle, and we're going to convert it to complex fill. So, and we're going to zoom right in. Zoom, zoom, zoom. So you can see how this looks. I think that looks great. Let's check the size. It's actually pretty small. It's only 1.5 by 1.5. So just kind of picture that. That's pretty small. If you were to make it this small, look what happens. There's hardly any stitches in it. Let's see how small that is. Less than 1/2 inch. I'm not sure if you'd be able to see it. This is why I'm zooming right in. So it's not going to have much coverage, and I think it's just going to end up a little bit of a clump sort of thing. Now, if you were to change this, select it, let's change it to... Now, you can't do anything fancy, although I guess I can show you if you do it on a motif. That's what you get. So if your motif stitches are, you know, kind of goofy like that, that's because it's way too small. So in the big picture, that's not much of a motif, but look what happens when you make it bigger. There you go. You can see what it is. So, you just have to be careful with size. You can't expect it to stitch out if it's too small. I mean, we could do the same thing with the wave. That is a good size for the wave. I'm not going to change the density, but when you make it really small, I mean, you're hardly going to see that. So let's move back. See how it looks even when you step back? That's why I always say step back and look. See, this looks good. This, not so much. Not so much. So, small, too small. I mean, you got to think how many stitches this is. 24 stitches. Do you think you can see 24 stitches? Yeah, no, probably not. Probably not. So make it a little bit bigger, and we have 262 stitches, and the size is 1 by 1, and that's probably pretty good. So the other thing to learn about sizes, so big is more detail, small is less detail. So if you're doing a big circle like this, then you can do satin stitches. If you're doing something small, you have to go back to more basic stitches. This, if it's too small, it can only be as small as the width of the thread. So it's not going to be as open as this. So it'll probably just look like a dot. And this is how you get bird nesting if you do stuff that's too dense or too small, or if you take a stitch file and make it too small, that sort of thing. So I came up with a whole bunch of things to do, and I paid no attention to the order of it. Some swirls to give it some movement, some diamonds. I changed the colors, I changed the size. Look, I did a whole bunch of dots. Actually, it's just one piece, and I copied and pasted it and flipped it, right? So that's awesome. Diamond stars, swirls, all sorts of motif stitches. This is perfect placement for that. And you can have more than one, sashing going on. But yeah, don't be afraid to change the colors, change the swirls, use variegated thread, squish up your stars even so they look a little different, because life isn't perfect, and I think that looks better than a perfect star every time. So I think it's great. So many options. Applique, fancy stitches, decorations, the whole bit. Now, last but not least is my fun yet crazy version of freestanding lace. I think this one turned out spectacular. I would love to have it. So this is from my lace maker, and this is the tree shape that they have. And this is a star from the Sea collection, and then I just did variegated. And these are, candle wicking designs. I just made them bright colors. This is built in. Everything is built in. I really like this wave like this. And just circles, and that's a freestanding lace Christmas tree, because that is the most fun you can have with embroidery, in my opinion. And I warned you at the beginning of the video that I really had a lot of fun with variegated thread, and yes, I just seriously did. Look at all my presents and the candy, and it's just too much fun. I'm maybe overdoing it a little bit. I'll give you guys that, maybe. But there's nothing wrong with this. This is bright and beautiful. That would be cute as earrings, but I doubt it would stitch small enough. I'm pretty sure Eileen Roche has charms, lace charms, and I'm pretty sure there's a really gorgeous Christmas tree on it. I'll have a look for you afterwards. So I hope you guys like this video. I hope Lynn loves her wavy hot pink Christmas tree with neon neon designs on it. It's so much fun to sit and place everything and then change the colors. Applique, fancy stitches, big, small, all from some triangles. So I hope to see your Christmas trees. Have tons of fun with your triangles. Maybe don't overdo it on the variegated thread, but it is fun. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone. Bye.